Hey everybody, welcome to the 2020 Walsh Cross Country Season Preview. I'm Tyler Sasky here with head coach Rob Mazzico. Rob, thanks for joining me today to kind of get things started for the 2020 season.
Yeah, we're excited. Thanks for having me.
Entering your 9th season as the cross country and track coach here at Walsh. Last year was probably one of the program's best years on both ends. On the men's side, GMAC championship, 3rd straight NCAA appearance, and you had the best individual NCAA finish in Jacob Caniford. The women were 2nd, narrowly to Hillsdale in the GMAC championships, and then finished 10th in the NCAA championships, the program best. 2 Freshman of the Year, and then 2 Coach of the Year. Your thoughts on last year, just kind of putting a bow on that, and we'll move on to 2020.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Last year was a pretty phenomenal year for us. We knew going into it, I mean, the goal now is to be at the national meet every year and be, on the brink of a conference championship as well. So it was exciting. When you look at the women's team in particular first, they were stacked from top to bottom, and obviously Bridget coming on as a freshman, Andra, Alexa, Claire, all having great experience, and then Bree as a senior making that transition from being a track star to more of a cross-country runner. We had the 1 through 5 punch that was able to run very tight packs every week, and that's how you win meets.
Right.
And when you pull that off at the national meet, you get your highest finish ever. So that's really exciting, and it's even more exciting to know 4 of them are back, and then there's a couple more that are coming back for a 5th year because of the COVID year.
Right.
So we have a couple years to be really excited about, and on both sides. Now on the men's side, everything we had to play our cards for the regional meet. Mm-hmm. I mean, we knew we were good enough to win the conference meet. We knew that Hillsdale and Malone would show up and give us a lot of competition there. But we were able to pull that off, and then 2 weeks later, which is, I'm very excited to say we're running well at the regional meet. We ran our best race, could arguably be our best regional meet performance ever on the men's side, to get that 4th place finish and be able to get to the national meet for the 4th time in 5 years. So that was, it's really a lot of fun to watch those young men and women step up when they need to step up at the end of the year and run the races that they're running. So last year, in a nutshell, continued the ball rolling, because we've been there for a couple years in a row. And it's fun to see it every year with a new chapter. Different athletes, different top runners. So it's exciting to see that. And both teams this year, going into this year, considering the COVID, had to do so much on their own, no camp, things that are not normal at all for us,
right,
have come back, and we are fit, and we are ready to race, and we are very blessed to be able to get a few races in.
Now, like we said, gonna be a weird season. I know, and you just said kind of a light camp. Where do you feel the team is coming out of that light camp, heading into this weekend's first meet?
Considering we've only had practice for 2 weeks, we are in a really good spot. And that's a credit to the athletes. I mean, most of these athletes, unless I ran into them at a wedding or something over the summer, most of these athletes I had no contact with, and had not seen them practice or race since March 9th.
Right. Yep.
So it's all on them. I mean, they worked extremely hard, most of them working hard 100% on their own, to come back to school fit and ready, regardless of whether we were going to have a season or not. I mean, everybody knows we are finding more out, and we're still finding more out every week. And with that uncertainty, they still worked as if they were having a full season. And the NCAA tournaments were canceled in earlier August, so they knew we had no chance to go to nationals, but they kept working, and it's a credit to them to put us where we're at right now, because really we've done 2 workouts and a time trial going into our first meet on Saturday. And those workouts and the time trial went extremely well, but it's one of those things where, it's on the athletes.
Yes.
There's no camp, there's nothing. We couldn't do anything to change that, but it's just the culture of the team is something special, things that I can't personally coach. You hope when you recruit them that's the line of their thought process, but they certainly did it. And, we're going to compete in a few meets that we have, and we'll run some time trials, and hope we get an indoor and outdoor season.
Definitely. Now, obviously, the end goal year after year is the NCAA championships. With there being no championships this year, no regionals, what would you say the goal would be for your teams this season?
I think, obviously, the goal that we have written down is win the GMAC championship.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest meet on the schedule. We want to be able to go to the GMAC meet in Tiffin, the 24th of October, and try to win that meet. But outside of that, getting our freshmen to develop more, it's an ideal situation for a freshman, because they don't have to convert to that 8K and have it count too much. There's no regional or national meet for those freshmen. So it's kind of like a redshirt season for them to get older and more mature and more used to the training. But yeah, that's probably the big thing. And just getting the team close together again. I mean, the chemistry has to be built. And if the chemistry, with a lot of them coming back next year, if the chemistry is there this year, it's only going to better our chances next year.
Right.
I mean, we're not the only one that's going to have a lot of people come back next year, because everyone's going to do it. Everyone gets a free season, so we can't sit there and pat ourselves on the back and say, "Oh, we got all these guys and girls coming back next year," because everyone's going to do that. So it's still going to be an even playing field come next fall. But for us personally, it's just building that relationship, building that family. So when we go out there, we are ready to compete, whether it's this year, next year, or this spring.
Now, the groundwork was laid out last couple of years. That solid group, that solid core that you have most of them back. So, obviously, there's a couple departures on both ends, but for this shortened season, for the meets you have a really solid group to put out there each and every week. How key is that for everybody to know that you have that solid team to go out there?
I think it's important. I mean, I think everybody that's involved in our sport, and whether they're in the GMAC or the Midwest region, I mean, we know each other's lineups really well. We know who's coming back. We know their freshman classes. I mean, we do our homework. We kind of know who's going to be there. So I don't know if there's anything that is going to shock people when they see us race this spring or this fall. It's going to be pretty much the same old for us. We're a team that is probably going to be on the bubble to get to nationals every year. We're not Grand Valley. We're just not at that level, and we're a small private school that is going to have to get it done in different ways. But to answer your question, I mean, I don't think it's important, but I think everybody that follows the sport is going to know. We really don't need to race necessarily for people to know that who this person, they brought this guy in or this girl in or whatever. We all know that, and it's, believe me, with no regional meet, it's like, I know Grand Valley is going to be the best team in the region again next year. It doesn't matter if they run or not. It is what it is. So so there's a lot of things that are just kind of a given that we kind of know. But I mean, we're not stepping out on the course this year trying to make a statement or anything. We're stepping out on the course to give the opportunity to our athletes to race again. That's what it's about. Is our kids are getting the opportunity to race.
Yes.
The love of the sport, the passion. All their hard work that they've put in is pretty phenomenal. And just to give them that, that's what it's about. It's for us to go. I mean, hopefully they think about us every year as being, okay, we got to worry about Walsh. They're going to be pretty good. I mean, hopefully we got the program to that level where people have to think about us regardless if it's a COVID year or not.
Right. Well, it all gets started this weekend. Rob, thank you so much for joining me to kind of take a look at the season, and we will we'll see you in Michigan on Saturday.
We will be there. Thank you so much,
you.
Tyler.
Hey everybody, Tyler Stowski here with Noah Murray, senior from the Walsh men's cross country team. Noah, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Looking forward to seeing the 2020 season kickoff this weekend, Saturday at Hillsdale. Your senior season's coming.
Yes.
You had a great junior season where you were one of the top runners for Walsh. I mean, you never placed lower than third on Walsh's running order. Phenomenal at nationals. What is your mindset coming off a stellar season last year, coming into what would be your senior season?
Obviously, COVID's kind of playing a part into it. As much as I hate to say it, it is my senior season. Coach and I are planning on me coming back here for a fifth year. But I did get hurt at the beginning indoor and redshirted indoor. And obviously with COVID, didn't run an outdoor season as well. So it's been a hot minute since I've stepped on, any race, whether that be on the cross course or on the track. So it's certainly going to be an interesting senior season or COVID season. So, I mean, just going to roll with the punches and see what happens.
Now, you mentioned it's going to be a weird season with everything going on with the pandemic. You guys are kind of rolling into the season without a lot of team workouts and whatnot. You just started really working as a team last week.
Yeah.
What is the feel going into the season through the limited workouts you've had with you and your team?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It plays a part to how well we recruited just in general. I think because we spent so much time recruiting our guys, especially, our, top recruits, whether that be Mitchell Dunham or Xavier Full. I mean, we spent so much time with those guys, bringing them on campus, hanging out with them, eating with them, running with them. I mean, some of our guys we haven't spent as much time with, but the guys that we're expecting to be in our top 5, top 7, I mean, we've spent time with these guys recruiting. Yeah, we haven't ran with them that much. Yeah, we haven't done workouts, but based on our time trial we had on Friday, I mean, it's looking great. There's going to be some growing pains here and there, but at the end of the day, I think that, since we spent a lot of time recruiting them, we've already gotten to know them. We know who they are. We've watched them race in the indoor state meet, in the cross-country state meet earlier last fall. So, like I said, we're just going to roll with the punches.
Now, a little bit of a different schedule for you guys. Only going to be in 4 meets, including the GMAC championships. There is no NCAA tournament or championships this year.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be in the same meets you were normally, where you're facing some of the best competition in the Midwest.
Yes, sir.
With there being no NCAA championships this year, obviously that's pretty much anybody's end goal.
Yeah.
Where is your goal heading into the season? Is it to go out and maximize your potential at the GMAC championships this year?
I mean, as much as we do want to say that, a lot of our guys, I wouldn't say are undertrained, but, like I said, coming off an injury for me personally, I mean, I'm going to use this as a way to bust the rust off before potentially maybe an indoor season, but, me personally, I'm gearing up for the outdoor season, but I know a lot of our goal as a team is to help out our freshmen, a lot of our younger guys coming into this fall to get mileage in, to get some decent workouts in, planning on next year. I mean, unfortunately, I wouldn't say it's a throwaway season, but not having that regional meet or that national meet as a measuring stick for not only me, but our freshmen for the 10K. I mean, we're just going to use this as like a very large training block, not taking any of these early meets too seriously. Obviously, we want to win the championship at GMAC, of course, to regain that title. But even if we lose that meet, a lot of our guys are going to get experience, and, I'm hoping that next year is a no contest. So
it's a good way to look at it, because you guys, like you said, you're coming off the GMAC championship last year. 2 out of 3 years for the men. No, I appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend in Hillsdale, and we'll see you in Michigan.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Welcome back to the 2020 Walsh Cross Country season preview. I am now joined by senior Alexa Leppemeyer. Alexa, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Going to talk a little bit about what's to come over the next 6-7 weeks with the 2020 season. For you, coming into your senior season, once again, just like we talked about with Noah, you had a great senior cross-country season. Where is your head at after you had a great junior cross-country season?
Well, it is disappointing with COVID and not having regionals and nationals, but we just gotta take care of what we have, and I'm just running to, I don't know, kind of stay sane and just with the meets we have, we're just gonna keep doing what we usually do and compete and try to win a GMAC title.
Now, you were one of the athletes that was in Birmingham, Alabama. You were 24 hours from competing in nationals when everything shut down. The world
Yes.
began to fall into pandemic mode. Saturday, Hillsdale, you're going to be able to compete again. What's that feeling like, knowing that, okay, like you said, you can get back out there, you can run? Where's the feeling at?
I'm actually really excited. It's gonna definitely feel different. Like, we haven't raced since March, and I mean, the last time we were about to compete, it was very disappointing to be less than 24 hours away. But we're just gonna keep doing like what we usually do and go into it just as like if it was a regular season. And I think our girls' team's looking really well, and we're just gonna try to stay normal in these crazy times.
Now, with the pandemic, it's been a different preseason for you guys. A shorter schedule leading into your first meet. In your eyes, where's the feel for where the team's at and where you're at going into the first race this weekend?
We had a time trial last night, and Friday night, and we always do that every year. It's not necessarily like right before our first 6K, but doing that, I think it really helped our team get like our legs moving and get used to like being back in their like racing routine, even though it was like not actually a race, but it like really helped with that. And I think it really just brought us together as a team, since we haven't been able to really like run together as much as we would normally. And yeah.
Now, 4 meets on the schedule for you guys. Cultivating with the GMAC championships in about 6 weeks at Tiffin. What is your goal for this season?
Personally, my goal is just to do what I can do. It's different, and like usually we have our eyes on nationals, which is like a lot farther out, and like GMAX, we always focus on GMAX, but it's not always our like main goal. Like last year we lost by 3 points, and I was like, okay, we'll do this at regionals. So this year it's just kind of like focusing on GMAX, and I think just doing our best and rolling with the punches with everything happening.
Good thing for the women's team, you happen to win the GMAC championships in even-numbered years.
Yeah, yes, that's
so
right.
2020 could be a continuation of, like you said, hopefully jumping from second to first.
Yes.
And winning that GMAC championship. Alexa, thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining me. We'll see you on Saturday in Hillsdale.
Yeah, thank you.